welcome back to the channel. It's Lauren. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. We are in singles week. I don't know what day. I'm pre-filming this, so I do not know when this will be posted, when other videos will be done. But what I do know is this video is a part of singles week, so I will leave the playlist down below if you guys want to check out other videos that have happened, or if you're not watching this in order or when it's posted, you can check those videos out. And for this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We're not talking about single shadows that are in magnetic palettes. Instead, today we're going to be talking about ColourPop Super Shock Shadows. I feel like I was in on one of the first waves of these. I remember hearing about them, being really excited, and ordering them and getting them when I used to live in Arizona. So quite a long time ago. And since then, it's been a roller coaster ride of emotions for me and the Super Shocks. I went into a phase of loving them, then disliking them, then liking them again, then disliking them again, and now I'm back to loving them. So it's been a lot. It's been a journey over here. Currently in my collection, I have 21 Super Shock Shadows. I got most of these kind of toward the end of last year, maybe the last half of last year, and also into this year. They more recently just relaunched some of their classic, like cult classic shades, as well as launched some new shadows. So I picked some of those up. That's like a decent portion of this. And although I haven't used all of these on my eyes yet, since they're a little bit newer to my collection, I thought it would be fun to rank them. I thought I would give myself the task of ranking these eyeshadows, and how I decided to do that was based off of texture, sparkle, shine, the feelings it gave me, what I was expecting the shadow to be when I ordered it online, and I used all that information to decide how I would rebuy these again, and so that's the ranking. So from least favorite to most favorite in the way that I would repurchase them again, so I hope that makes sense. I don't think any of these are necessarily bad, but there are some that I guess if I could go back, maybe I wouldn't have picked that one up, or there's something similar but better or whatnot. So without further ado, we're gonna get into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. The last shade on this list, unfortunately, like I do not want to put this here, but truly there's something to be desired. Like this leaves something to be desired for sure. This is the shade Rose Garden from ColourPop. I believe this came out with the new shades that they launched. This is a beautiful kind of periwinkle purple, and I want this to be really great, but this is a little bit sheerer than I want it to be, and that's why it's ending up here at the bottom. Now, I do think that this could create a really beautiful look on its own, on the lid, just this, but it's a little bit tough to layer over other things, especially if you're getting in there and you're adding some matte shadows in. Not all ColourPop Super Shocks are created the same, even if they say they're the same formula, which this is an ultra glitter. I'll try to denote that as I go along, but not all the ultra glitters are the same type of glittery formula, and you know, some are a little bit more, I guess, juicy and moist. Others are a little bit like a wettened powder, and this one's a little bit more on the crumbly side, I would say. And so I definitely think this shade looks the best, the cleanest, like the most chic when it's just by itself on the lid. Add some mascara and do that kind of pop of color on the lid. But I would say in general, that is how I tend to like to use a Super Shock. So this one, I just wanted it to be sparklier. I wanted it to be maybe a little bit more opaque. I didn't want it to be as dry, and it was a disappointing shadow when I got it. I just knew it could be so much better. Next, these two kind of count together, but for the 20th spot and the 19th spot, these both came in a set for the animal shelter or something. They do one of these every single year, and the pictures, I'll try to pop something up here, were so just intriguing. They made these shadows look so beautiful, and this felt like, is that what I ordered? Is that what I ordered? They got those lights on the perfect angle on these babies. Not, again, that these aren't pretty. I just was expecting these to be my new favorite shadows I couldn't like keep out of my hands, but it was different. It was different. This is the You're Kitten Me shadow, and this is a reddened kind of bronze shade. It does have a golden and pink shimmer to it, and like, it's pretty, okay? It is pretty, but it just lets you know that the shades at the beginning and like the top of this list are, I think, stunning. So just, I don't know, I thought this was gonna have a higher shine to it. This almost feels like almost like a velvety. There's still something uniform about the way the shimmer is, so I don't feel like it catches your eye as much as I thought maybe it would. So that is Your Kitten Me. And then what came in the set also is called Mutt About You, and this is a golden, like lighter champagne, and it has a pink shimmer throughout. Again, nothing wrong with this, but I don't find myself gravitating to champagne shades quite like this. I usually like them to have a bit more of a base or not a base. Like it's one or the other. And so, you know, I don't know. I think there's no way that my expectations for these shadows, like these could never have matched up. So I think that's a bit of what's going on there too. All right, the next shade, I believe this is an oldie. Like this is an old ColourPop shade. It's a cult favorite, so don't come for me, but this is the color Sequin. This is in the Ultra Glitter formula as well. Just real fast, these were both Ultra Glitters too. And I think that the formulas on all of them are very different. Yeah, very different. To me, this almost seems more like a metallic, and this one's a little bit more of a, like a harder formula. It's definitely a different feel in the pan than other shadows, and I think that it's pretty. I do think it's pretty, but I do tend to go for more the sparkly finish, and this one, although it has the sparkles, it does come out to more of a metallic to me, and so that along with the texture is just not the one I usually reach for. Next, this is La Mesa, and this is another one of the newer ones. This is an Ultra Glitter. It's another one of those champagne shades, and I think this would be stunning, and I think so many people would really like this type of color. I'm just realizing that my kind of go-to all over one shadow looks, which again is what I really want from a Super Shock, something this light isn't really what I'm putting all over my lids anymore. This has some beautiful shimmer to it, so this is definitely a preference one, because otherwise if you want a golden champagne sparkly shade, it is beautiful. If that's what you're going to use, this is really beautiful. I just find that I want something a little bit deeper, so that way I have a little bit more contrast and like depth built into my one shadow look. I feel a little more polished in that, I guess. So that one is La Mesa. Really beautiful though. Next is the shade So Quiche. This is one of the shades that's an OG, but they brought it back more recently. And I had a lot of people actually recommend me to get this one. And from swatches, it looked so beautiful. This is a very unique shade. I just don't know how often I'm gonna reach for it because it is so interesting. This is like a grungy brown that has like a green gold hue to it. It looks it's very grungy, but then there's like this hot pink shimmer throughout it, and it's beautiful. It's different. I think that it's very unique, but it's just a hard one for me to place where I want to wear this, what I want to do, because there's a lot going on. It doesn't look green really. It looks kind of neutral, but it's also not neutral. Like it's not a brown. It is like a green gold. It's just a very interesting one, and sometimes shades like that on my eyes, I don't know, they play a little weird. So that one's just a hard one to place for me. If that's one of your favorite shades, let me know how you like to wear it. Number 15 on my list, this one is only this low on the list because it is like a little dried out. That's the only thing. I mean, I've already like technically hit pan. It's so easy to hit pan on these though. Literally you use them like 3 times and you're gonna have pan. This is Moon Daisy. This was one of the first shades I re-picked up like once I started getting back into the Super Shocks. And this one is a beautiful like pastel periwinkle with like a pink shift to it. Definitely I feel like so much better than the first shade I mentioned, again, Rose Garden. This has a beautiful sparkle to it, but it's again kind of a powdery, like a slightly moist powder. Instead of being a little bit wetter, I would have appreciated that. So just texture wise, it sometimes, you know, can be a little bit harder, I feel like, to build up, but it is really stunning and very sparkly. I also think the color is so unique. And with these, you know, ColourPop goes in and out of keeping things in stock, having things be limited edition, so I don't know what's going to be available on the site. I don't know if it's going to be coming back at some point, but I would also check on Ulta to see if they might have some of the Super Shocks there. I feel like we're already starting to get into like good shades, like solid shades, you know. This next one is called For Real, and this is, I think, a newer one as well. It's a peachy pink golden shimmer. This would look so good. One shadow look, super thin, just this mascara, and you just look so fresh, you know? It has a lot of nice sparkle to it. It is a thinner formula. Again, all of these tend to have different textures, and this one's a little bit more slick when it comes to the Super Shocks, and it's a little bit harder. You can't like move the putty around as easily as some other shades. This isn't the most unique color combination or anything, but I do think that it's a really beautiful peachy pink, and I think it would look just so good just it all over the lids. Next, we have the shade Abbott Kenny. This is one of the new shades. This is a great one shadow look. It's a little bit deep for me, a little bit more smoky than I would traditionally go for a one shadow look. I think that's why it's here, but it's like a red and bronze shade. So beautiful. It has almost like it has a multi-color sparkle on it. Something that looks a little golden, something that looks a little purple, almost like a little blue micro shimmers throughout. This is an ultra glitter. My gosh, I've been totally neglecting to say that. I'll have it all listed down below. So anyway, this is a beautiful one shadow look, just a little bit darker than some of the other ones that I feel like are so perfect for like every day for me. And this one's maybe not as like fragmented, you know, sparkles. It's a little bit more uniform and solid, but beautiful. Next, this is the shade Pressed Juice. I really wanted to pick this up because this was described as like a lemony golden color, but I really liked that it looked like it had this tinge of green, and that's what really had me going. This is actually a different formula. It's an ultra metallic, and you know, it's not as exciting as some of the ultra glitters because it doesn't have as much shimmer in it, but there's something kind of electric about this shade that I think works really well as like an inner corner. This also would look really pretty, I think, as a wash of color on the lids. And it is, you know, that golden yellow, but there's just this hint of green that I think makes it a little bit unusual, definitely a unique shade. And I think there's something kind of special in the fact that this is an ultra metallic because there's something just buzzing about this color that I don't think would be the same if it had more of the, you know, glitter finish. Number 11 on the list, this is Set to Stun. And this one, you know, it's a little bit of a slow burn. This is beautiful. It's not quite in the top 10, but damn, it's close. This is a purple shade. It has like a blue reflect to it. There's something about this color that although it's not a neutral, like it's not neutral, it has a definite pink purple look going to it. It could be a neutral. Like it could pair well with neutrals. You could still feel like you're wearing a neutral, but there's something extra to it. That's what this color is to me. So sparkly, one of the more sparkly ones out of the bunch. So if that's what you're looking for, I think this one's a good one to check out. A little bit more of a drier formula, but still like tons of shine in it. So this one's beautiful. I'm almost questioning if I should have put this higher, if I'm being honest right now. I mean, I went through this. You would have thought someone's life was on the line when I was ranking these. I was like, this is why I don't rank stuff. My gosh, I'm stressed out over here. I need to like take a break. I just feel the pressure. It's on, you know what I mean? But I believe we're into the top 10 now. We're into the top 10. This is a new one, and this is called Rooftop Cocktails, and I'm just a sucker. I am a sucker for shades like this. I am. So that's why this is up there for me. This is just my style of duochromatic shade. It's an ultra glitter, but I don't find this to be super glittery. You know, it's very micro, the glitter particles that are in here. It's not as chunky and sparkly, but it's one of those red-based blue purple shimmers, and I can't get enough of those, okay? And to have it in a Super Shock formula, I love. It's definitely, I think, a more wearable version of this color as well because it isn't as sparkly, and I think if you just put this all over the lid, again, some mascara, if you're like scared of duochromes or a lot of color, I think this could be an easy way to get into it because it is a little bit tamer than some of the other like actual press shadows I have in similar colors to this. Okay, so the angle might be a little bit different. I don't know, I might look a little different. I'm having to refilm just a tiny portion. Luckily, it's only tiny. My files were corroded. I've never literally had that happen to me before. I don't know what happened, but we were getting into number 9 would be next. But one of the things that I talked about that is no longer a part of the video and I want to make sure I talk about is the formula of the ColourPop shadows. I kind of just got straight into the video and I didn't really talk about how I feel like ColourPop, although sometimes the formula feels different from shadow to shadow, overall they still perform similarly on the eye in terms of wear, but they are very unique to other shadows and other cream shadows out there. I find there's basically like 2 cream shadow formulas besides ColourPop, at least that I've experienced. One is a cream shadow that you can have some time to play with, but it does lock down. So it eventually gets to this point where it's in place, it's not budging, it's not going anywhere. And that can be a really great one if you have oily lids. That can be great if you have like a long day ahead of you, if you're using those shadows as a base, depending on how good a formula is in that type of formula, if that makes sense. I do find sometimes those shadows can maybe, I don't know, look a little crusty sometimes if you don't blend them out in time, you know, depending on how fast they dry down. It can have its pros, it can have its cons. And then the other formula is a cream shadow that really never locks down into place, and it always kind of stays emollient, and it definitely is prone to creasing throughout the day, especially if you have oily lids or hooded eyes. And I would say that's kind of like the Rowan shadows. I love the Rowan shadows, but they always crease on me. It's just part of it. But luckily, since they don't lock down, you can kind of just tap them out. But, you know, those are the two. I find that the ColourPop formula is something in between that, where it doesn't dry down and like lock in place to me. It still feels thin and kind of mobile, but I also don't really find that these crease, and they have some good longevity to them. So it's very interesting that I feel like I get almost, it's not completely budge proof, but a pretty budge proof look without having something feeling a bit heavy on the lid. So yeah, pretty unique formula. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on that too. But let's get into number 9. Number 9 is the shade Secret Garden, and this one is absolutely stunning. Honestly, now that I'm going back, I've like swatched these 800 different ways. I've been really looking at them. This one is so special, so sparkly. It's almost like a caramely bronze type of color, definitely a little bit warm, has like an orangey hue to this neutral. So stunning, so sparkly. Like, again, I'm kind of like, man, all the way at 9? Maybe it should have been a little bit higher. Such a great neutral shade. I think this would make a beautiful one shadow look. I mean, all of these are one shadow looks, guys. Don't make me say it again, please. But this one, if you want something super sparkly, this one is there. Obviously, it's an ultra glitter, but one of the like truly sparkly ultra glitters. And the last shade I need to catch you guys up on before we go back to the other footage I already filmed. Number 8 on my list is Koosh, and I got this in a set. It was like a snake eyes set. It came with the shade Ritz, which will be later on in the list. But this one is an ultra metallic, so it's not a glittery formula, and it doesn't have any glitters in it at all. It's super metallic, but the reason that this is on the list so high, super bright, when the light hits it, it really shines. It's very light, but it does have a bit of a deeper base on it, and I think this one works as like a one shadow look for me if I want something bright but then has a little dimension when the light's not hitting it. But I also think it's a great base shadow to build like these cool tone looks on top of. You guys know I love the sparkly shades, but this one is just so beautiful, and I think this one really shows off how great the ColourPop formula, the Super Shocks, can just blend into the eye because it's like a thinner formula, but this one still has a lot of pigment. It doesn't add like this layer or texture or anything too noticeable on the eye. I feel like it just is pretty seamless. So this one, although not sparkly, we'll get into some really beautiful sparkly neutrals coming soon, I promise. This one still ranks pretty high up there because I do think it's different than a lot of the other ones that I have here and a standout in its own way. Now on to the other footage. Fingers crossed I don't have any more issues. Next is a recommendation that I picked up because of you guys. This is called Frog, and this is a beautiful like baby pink neutral shade, but this is just so glittery. If you're looking for a topper type shade, this is it. This has a drier consistency, but this all over the lid, it just looks wet. Like it just looks so wet. It's so beautiful. It has like a pink shift, a purple, blue, gold, almost kind of rainbow. Absolutely stunning. Could be used on the inner corner, the brow bone, again, all over the lid. I would use this as a highlight, like beautiful. If you're looking for that ultra glitter formula, this is it. And it has a sheerer base to it as well. So I just feel like, man, it picks up the light so beautifully, so unique, and really happy to have this one. Definitely a good pickup. Next is a new one. This is called Silver Lake, and this is like a Barbie pink. It has a purple to it as well. This has a semi-sheerness. The sparkle on it is almost like silver and gold on top of like a pink purple base. I just think it's beautiful and like a Barbie look, an easy one shadow look that's not neutral, has some depth, makes me feel like girly. Like I think this one's really beautiful and definitely, again, lives up to that ultra glitter name, which a lot of the ones in the top here, that's what I was looking for. We're into the top 5, and what I just said about ultra glitter, take that back for this shade. This is Moonwalk, and I believe this is an old one. I think they've maybe revamped it though. This is an ultra metallic, but this is a duochrome. Another type of duochrome that I'm a bit of a sucker for is this kind of golden, this one almost has like a blue, like tealness going on, but then it has a red base. I just love that. And the shimmer on this, it's not so high shine that I feel like, I don't know, sometimes with metallics when they're too high shine, you know, you have to be careful about how you're placing them. This one just has, yeah, like almost this velvet buzz to it with the color. Again, it's like a golden, green, teal shift on top of a red base. And I just think it's sultry and smoky. It's a neutral with pizzazz. And I think it's a really beautiful shadow. Even though it doesn't have any of that sparkle, it still ranks in the top for me. We're getting into the nitty gritty here, the tops. And the next one, this is called A Little Quarky. If you're looking for these beautiful neutrals that I was talking about, one shadow looks not too deep, not too light. Again, at least for me, this is so stunning. It's cool toned and silvery and sparkly. I mean, this is so pretty. You need to get this one. This one is so good. It has, it's like a cooler top sparkle on it that's almost kind of silvery. It has multicolors in it though, and then the base is a little bit of a warmer, almost caramely brown. You guys, just trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. If you're someone looking for those neutrals that are special, this is a special, special neutral. Next, we have Fruit Punch. This is going in here obviously because of color. I love me a lime chartreusey green. This is technically an ultra glitter. This is one of those very slick feeling ones. And this does have sparkle to it. It definitely does. But I just find on the inner corner, this is absolutely beautiful. Something similar to this. That's not what's on my inner corner today. I did this look with the Hella palette from Odin's Eye and Angelica. So yeah, if you haven't seen that video, I'll have it linked down below. But you could get something similar to this inner corner with this color. I feel like it really picks up well with the brush. It just looks so vibrant and really like catches the eye. Stunning. It could be used as a lid shade. It could be used just all over the lid. Like this type of color is a must-have in my collection. I love a lime chartreusey green. I really do. Last two shades both have pan naturally. I have to give it to Ritz. You guys, number 2 is Ritz. This is a classic for a reason. It is stunning. So absolutely glittery. This is one of the top glittery shades, you guys. Now toward the end, these out of the top 4, 3 of them are neutrals. I will put them next to each other and go over them so you can really see the difference. I would say with Ritz, Ritz is here. This one is So Quirky. The base is really the difference. Oh, I'm So Quirky. I think it might be over Ritz, honestly. Ritz is just a great one for every day though. But I'm So Quirky, it might be number 2. I don't know, it's tough. It's so tough, you guys. The shimmer in this is beautiful. It's like resting on top of this really like caramely beige base. It's stunning one shadow look. Easy, everyday, good to go. You can look chic, you can look sparkly and fun. Like it's everything in one shadow, it really is. But really the top, my number 1. This might not be the biggest surprise to you, but oh my gosh, you guys. Cosmic Charge is stunning, and this is all because of you guys that I even have this. So happy. I think this might still be available at Ulta, so if it's there, I'll link it. This is so beautiful, and this one's a little bit darker than the last 2 I talked about, and I find that it just, you know, it gives me a more put together look because it's a little bit deeper. It looks like I took a little more time on my makeup, but it's so easy, simple, one shadow look. It has a beautiful like blue sparkle to it. Again, it's kind of cool toned, and I mean, I love this. I'm gonna be so sad when this is gone. It's stunning. It really is a stunning shadow. I wear this on my 30th birthday. Like I love this. I love that I can get such a luxe, just glamorous, beautiful look, and it's fast and it's simple and it's $6. These are so cheap. This seems like something Charlotte Tilbury would come out with. This could be in a Tom Ford quad. Like people would be going insane over it, but it's from ColourPop and it's $6. It's just so good. I honestly feel like I want to switch up and say that I'm So Quirky is maybe number 2 instead of Ritz, because the shine on this just is so intense. It's almost metallic, but it has that PC shimmer, as in pieces of shimmer. Oh, so good. Literally though, I feel like the top 4 or 5 here, like there's no going wrong if you were looking for a bit of a guide, if you were shopping. But even the other ones I feel like are still good. It's more just your preference and what you're looking for in a shadow. I'm gonna swatch all 3 of these neutrals real fast so you can see the difference and I can describe them in real time here with you. Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna do it justice. This one is Cosmic Charge, the darker one. This one is Ritz. And then this one is I'm So Quirky. All of them are like literally so beautiful. Mostly the biggest difference you can see in the base though. Definitely a difference in that base color. The top sparkle, I feel like Ritz is the most true neutral because it has no like colorful shimmer. The other two have like something almost like unexpected from JD Glow going on. All right guys, well I hope you enjoyed my ranking and really just seeing all my ColourPop shadows and the swatches. I hope it was helpful if you were looking at the website. I know it can be tough, like a little overwhelming. What's the difference between ultra glitters? What do these actually look like? So hopefully it can be a bit helpful, but I'd love to know what's your favorite Super Shock down below. When inevitably ColourPop comes out with all these collections, I am definitely looking more at the Super Shocks than ever before because I just think they're so pretty and really fit my makeup style at the moment. Like just in one little potted cute eyeshadow, this is my style. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying Singles Week. I am excited for the videos to come and I hope you are too. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. See you then. Bye.